What is up, Michael? Thank you so much for jumping on the AIM podcast.
Absolutely, man. Glad to be here. Super excited to dive into about everything. And yeah, wherever you want to start, let's go.
Dude, the first thing I want to hit on is, bro, the hair, man. I'm thinking about doing that too, man. I don't know. The blue looks good on you, man. I have blue eyes, so it might kind of match.
Dude, it will go well. You look solid in blue hair. I'm just all about color, all about, self-expression and trying to present that to the outside world. And, colorful hair, colorful nails, like that's how I do things. I live life for myself, and this is the way I want to be presentable.
I love it, man. I love it. I really enjoyed getting a chance to meet you in person. I know we've connected through social media and done some stuff business wise, but at Wadapalooza, man, that was an incredible event, and that was super cool to see you there.
Super high energy at Wadapalooza, just meeting everyone around there. Everyone's in that same mindset, there to watch some awesome fitness, there to meet other like-minded people. So it's always a great event to attend.
100%. No, I love it. Yeah, there's been some really cool things that have come from that event, and it's so fun to see like just what goes on and how much they pack into those few days of just energy. The athlete side, the brand side. It's a really, really well done event. And Matt O'Keefe is a legend.
Forget all of that dude. You got your first muscle up there. That's noteworthy.
Dude, it was so crazy. Your guy Grant McCartney, 10,000 guy, little 10,000 plug. Dude, he taught me how to do it, man. Him and Pat Barber, man. I'd never done one in my life. I've always wanted to so bad. And I think I've always had the strength to, just not the technique. Like I've always done strict pull-ups, never any type of kipping. But dude, I was really hyped. I'm not gonna lie.
Congrats, brother. Now you also broke a mental barrier. Now you're just gonna keep going and going and going and just add it into the repertoire.
Dude, it's such a mental barrier. I think that's something we can hit on too later in this episode with the stuff you've done. But I was physically in a position where I had enough strength to complete the task, but mentally there was a block. I hadn't completed that movement. And so I didn't know if I could truly do it. But now that I know how to do it, I can crank them out.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I love it.
Let's go, man. Well, before we really dive in to the amazing things you've done, all the different challenges, I want to kind of hear more about your background in just health and fitness in general, and kind of your transition through the different things, different style of trainings that led up to this point.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've always been pretty fit. Growing up, like I had very supportive and positive parents and role models throughout my entire life. And they always pushed me to, just try everything I could. Even if I didn't like the sports, like figure it out, see what you do like. So I ended up doing football, didn't really like it, fell into rugby, absolutely loved that, played throughout high school and college, did crew, did that throughout high school. And I just kept trying these different things. And once I kind of graduated college, that led me to like the next thing. Like I need something to feed this competitive outlet, this, sense of camaraderie and teamwork, and found OCR. And OCR was a lot of fun. For those who don't know what it is, it's obstacle course racing, anywhere from Spartan races, Tough Mudders, Warrior Dash, anything that was out there at the time and paying money. And I did that competitively for a couple of years, fell out, found CrossFit, really enjoyed it. And then realized I kind of needed a little bit more in my life, more of a sense of purpose, more, something that I can do just outside of the gym, something where I can kind of transcend the fitness experience and kind of get people out of the mindset like it has to be in the gym, it has to be done this way, these are the standards. Like I wanted to create the standards. I wanted to set something that hasn't been done before to inspire other people and still have it be relatable to fitness. And that's kind of where I fell into all these massively insane challenges that now I'm just knocking off one by one, whether they're successful or not. Like I'm just going to create them and get on my way to work towards it.
Dude, I love that. I think, something that you do really well, and I've heard you talk about this, and I want you to kind of dive into it a little bit, is you talk about using fitness as your creative outlet. And I think that's so fascinating. Like when I think of fitness, prior to kind of hearing you speak about it, I don't think of like a creative form. Like I do think it can be an outlet for some people that, are dealing with stuff, kind of go release, whatever they're going through. But you talk about more of from a creative standpoint. So like, what do you mean by using fitness as a creative outlet?
So it's the chance where I get to be creative. I consider myself a master in the craft. I spent a lot of time, a lot of hours doing this one particular skill set, which is fitness. And because of that, I have this whole toolbox where I can literally just create something out of that toolbox. So for me, it really is something I can call and deem being creative. It is my sense of art. It's my, you know, comparable to me painting something or something like that. So if you were to think about, you know, seeing a trainer, they create a program for you. That is their sense of creativity, finding the best path for you in their sense of mind. And for me, it's creating something that hasn't been done yet, hasn't been seen, and the effects for when you see it, it inspires you to start. And it may not be to do that exact same thing, but maybe it just gives you a spark to try something related to fitness or related to moving around. That's all I'm really looking for, is creating that spark for someone else. And the first thing I started doing that got me on this process was my brother called me up on the phone and he was like, hey, I think we should try to do the 5 and 5, which is deadlifting 500 pounds. And then in that same day, running a sub 5-minute mile. And I was like, well, I've already done that twice. Like, do we need to do it again? He's like, no, let's do it on the same clock. And I was like, oh, okay, we're on to something. Let's just, you know, see what happens. We'll set a date and we'll just get after it. And I remember, you know, casually just doing CrossFit workouts, deadlifting heavy. And then the day comes, I live streamed it on my Instagram, and it was 3, 2, 1, go, 500-pound deadlift straight into a mile. The overall time was 4:49, absolutely shattered the sub 5 kind of thing. And I was the first person in the world to ever do something like that. And next thing I know, Dave Castro reposts it. It's got like right around just under 1 million views. People are DMing me. They're like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm nowhere near this, but I'm going to try to, you know, deadlift this weight and run this mile. And I was like, that's, what more can you ask for people just like creating their own challenges off of something you kind of did yourself?
Wow. So to date, you were the first person that's completed the challenge all on one clock, is what you're saying. Because people had done it where they did it same day, but you start the clock, you pull the 500 pounds, and then you're right into the mile.
Yep. First person to do it all on the same clock. I know some top guys that are going for it. Some ex-Olympians. I'm giving them all the best advice I can. I'm giving them some like tips and tricks and like some mistakes that I've learned through the process, and just helping them get through it themselves. But right now, currently, it's just me in that club.
Well, so do you know what your mile split was for that challenge? That just
I
the
haven't
mile
written
component
down, but off the top of my head, I think I ran like a 62 on the first lap. And that includes the deadlift. So I was like, I pretty much was emptying the gas tank on that first lap. And then third lap, my absolute slowest, ran like maybe 70 something. And then just pulled it together for the last lap and just destroyed it.
Dude, that's incredible. I'm trying to do the math in my head, and I'm like, if you ran 449, or well, if 449 was your official complete time, correct?
Yep.
Yes. I mean, dude, like you're running like a 430 something low 440 mile.
It was a really quick deadlift pull for me. It was the fastest I've ever pulled 500 because I don't set up. I just, as soon as the clock beeped, I bent down, hands on the bar, and just pulled. So it was only like 4 seconds or so. So I ran a 445, 444, somewhere in that range.
That is incredible. Just having the combination of like, I mean, that's a fast mile alone. Like that's extremely fast, but
that's what made it really cool. Like, not only do you have to be really strong to pull that weight, are you also fast enough to run this absurd mile time? And granted, it's not like the fastest mile. We're not like talking sub fours here, but like I'm a big dude.
Yeah.
And who just pulled a lot of weight, and like now I'm meshing these two together. Like, can you do it both simultaneously?
That's so cool, man. And it is cool. I've seen a few guys. I don't know. I'm sure there's multiple. I'm sure there's a lot, but I have seen like Ryan Hall, for example. I know he attempted and didn't get it, but trying
to give him the advice.
Train for it now, which is interesting. Yeah, good luck to Ryan. But my other thing with that is, was this challenge the kind of the first thing that got you going in this world of these insane challenges, or did you have some stuff that kind of led up to it?
That started the snowball effect. Because once Dave Castro reposted that, it got a lot of notoriety. And next thing I know, I think it was like a week, the company 10,000 called me and they're like, hey, we're running this Feats of Strength campaign for the year coming up. We really want you to be a part of it and actually lead off the campaign with one. Do you have any other ideas
Wow.
that you want to do? And I was like, well, I'm not going to say no, but I took the offer instantly and I went home that night and was just writing down like a bunch of ideas. And one of them that I wrote down that I didn't really put thought into was I just wrote down the word strongman marathon. I didn't write anything next to it. I just knew it was going to consist of different movements for a mile each to lead up to 26.2 miles. And I pitched that idea and they're like, we absolutely love this. Like, figure out what the miles are going to be.
Jeez.
We're going to pick a place. And I figured out what all the miles were going to be. So I had 26.2 miles of just obscene madness. And in my head, I was like, all right, we'll go to the track. We'll film this. It'll be a good day and like a world's kind of first because it hasn't been done before. And they brought it to my attention. They're like, well, this can't be done on a track. Like, this has to be done in a very specific location to give it that aesthetic feel, to give it those backdrops. And we landed on the salt flats. And it wasn't until I got to that space, like, that opened my eyes. I'm like, oh, like, this is how you transcend fitness. Like, it has to be at a very unique location. It has to be you and the elements doing just whatever you can think of. Because if you truly want it to be art, it has to be more than being in the gym. It has to be somewhere spectacular.
The salt flats, I mean, that is, I'm sure there's like the beauty element. I'm sure it's breathtaking just being in that environment. But how did that environment impact the actual challenge itself?
It made it a lot harder. So because it's hard packed salt and then there's some spots that crack. So you're running and you're dipping into these small little holes that you don't know were there. So it's kind of like messing with your feet. Doing lunges were just tearing up your knees. The salts were just like grinding away at the skin. Handstand walking was like next to impossible. And the elements definitely made it harder. But at the same time, like, you look around and you're just 10 miles of just flat salt and mountain backdrops.
Wow.
It was truly insane to be out there.
Now, and you started this challenge. I mean, obviously, what was your final time for this challenge?
It was 9 hours, 18 minutes, and 33 seconds.
Wow, that's fast. But you started it before this, like, you started it really early in the morning, right?
Yeah, because I was expecting to be around, 12 to 14 hours. So I knew I had to get it started early because I didn't want to be out there super late at night.
Yeah.
So I started real early in the morning. I ran out, put my markers down. So I actually ran more than 26 miles because I was the one bringing my markers out. And started off, did my first run, then came to the burpee mile broad jump and just started going in the wrong direction every single second because it's pitch black. I couldn't see my black marker on the ground. I had the crew just swerving with their headlights trying to find it. And yeah, it was one hell of experience.
That's literally crazy, dude. I've got a lot of respect for it. I was thinking through it and I was trying to say, like, what would be the hardest part for me? I don't know, dude. There's a lot of those miles were like extremely challenging. Like, what was the hardest element of the challenge?
I have a couple, and their difficulty is different for like a couple number of reasons. The handstand one was by far the hardest for me because I had it early, and it was like a mile after the burpee broad jump. And for my burpee broad jumps, I just kept falling down to my shoulders to gain as much distance as I could.
Wow.
So my shoulders were just shot. So I kicked up and I couldn't feel them. I was literally walking 5 to 10 feet at a time and like have to shake out my arms to get a break. Like, the ground was so uneven. I even said it in like the footage they put out, like, I can't feel my shoulders, but like, I don't want to quit. Like, you're so early on in the marathon. If you quit at mile like 4, like, why did you even come? There's so much stuff left to do, and you're going to give up here and disappoint like not only yourself, but everyone that came out to watch you do this. It'd just be like I would feel like the biggest disappointment ever. So I'm glad it was so early on, because if it was later, I would have quit.
Yeah.
And then the tire flip mile was insane. It wasn't that it was difficult. I'm rather good at tire flips. I enjoy them. But you got to realize that thing moves 5 meters at a time. So I remember I was in a groove. I think I did 50 straight at like an awesome pace. And I looked back, and the starting van and crew is still right behind me. I'm like, how is this possible? I just did like so many. And I was just like, all right, I got to buckle down and really just move this tire.
100%. Yeah. The part you make about just like not wanting to disappoint, like obviously, and I don't want to speak for you. I'm sure you had a variety of reasons why you're motivated to do these challenges, but when you market something and you do it for a greater cause, there's a lot going on. Like, there's a lot of different emotions I'm sure going on, but I do want to talk about like your mindset during, just straight misery. Like I'm sure there are many times where you're just like, dude, I don't know if I can keep going. Like, how did you get through that barrier? Like what mentally did you create? Like what kind of environment mentally did you create to get through that?
I think because there were so many intermittent moments of just like sheer joy. Like it gives you that slightest bit of distraction where you can just kind of turn the tables. Like there were 3 miles where I carried my girlfriend on my shoulders as a fireman carry. And that was like the best mile I could have ever asked for, because we were just, joking around the entire time, saying what we were going to do later, just enjoying the moment between us. And like that was the fastest mile like that went through my head, because it was just sheer enjoyment. And if you're going to go through pain and be like, all right, I got to flip this tire, 1,000 more times, that's okay. Because once you're done with this one, you never have to see that tire again. Yeah. Like just get through that, move on to the next mile. It's probably going to suck, but you don't know that yet. And just wait till you get there. So just get to that one next mile.
For sure. No, I love that. I mean, I think there's a lot of cool different tactic strategies. Like I think breaking things into smaller goals. Like if you're setting out to do something massive, like just get through that 1 mile, like you said, or perspective, right? Like having your girlfriend there, I'm sure was amazing just to support, and just knowing that it's not, you were doing it for so many more people too. I think that's super cool.
And like, once you kind of have those barriers, you kind of rate those experiences like, all right, was this the most painful moment of my life? No, awesome. I can get through it then, because it hasn't, like, this doesn't even top the last moment. So I think I also do it because I'm kind of searching for that moment. Like I've hit a wall a couple times. I remember my first world championship obstacle course race. Like I came in, I thought I was hot shit, completely unprepared. And like there was 8 times I wanted to quit that race, but I kept going. And I'm still seeking moments like that are really going to test and challenge me. And like, if I know they're not at that level, I'm just like, all right, well, I know I can get through it. So I'm just seeking for that next one. What's really going to, put something in my face and be like, yo, you're done. What's going to challenge me? That's what I'm kind of really searching for.
That's so true. I think there's so much growth opportunity when people attack a goal or a challenge that's hard and think that their ceiling is right here, and then go do it and then realize their ceiling's here. And then you go do the exact same process and replicate it. And then you go push for that ceiling and realize it's up here, and just continue to just push the barriers. I think that's powerful. And then the more you get in those environments, you create this level of confidence and just like calloused mind where you're like, man, like I really am capable of so much more than I thought. I just had to go actually do it.
Yeah. And sometimes that confidence bites you. I've definitely, failed a couple of these challenges, but like, that's okay, because it didn't get me to discouraged enough to not try it again. Like I'm always willing to learn and, pivot and just go for it.
For sure. Well, what did your preparation look for these challenges? Like, first off, how long, when you kind of created the strongman marathon, how long did you have from creation date till the actual event?
That's a good question. It wasn't long. I think it was no more than 3 months. I think it was more in that like 2-month range. Because I presented the idea and they're like, all right, like, what does your training need to be to get there? And I'm like, this could be tomorrow. Like, let's go. Like, I know I can handle the endurance part. Just like whenever you guys want to pick a date, like I'm ready to go. I'm going to be ready to tackle any of these challenges whenever. And a lot of the times that really bites me. But sometimes like, how else am I going to test myself? Am I ready to do something at a moment's notice?
Yeah. So physically, I mean, you were very confident, just kind of where you are, just the well-rounded athlete you are. You felt confident to attack it. What about mentally? Like, were there things that you had to prepare for mentally for something like that?
Mentally, because that one was like I knew it was going to be a longer day and I had to be mentally engaged. So I knew that was going to be more of an issue. Like, how long could I stay checked in? Because if I, take myself out for a second, a number of problems can arise. Like, I could injure myself because I'm not paying attention, like carrying like a yoke rack on my back. I could, lead down that path of, oh, we should just quit now. We should just quit now. There's no reason to do this. And if I'm not alert, like I won't flip that switch. So just preparing for it mentally is whenever you're in the gym, just kind of envisioning you're in that moment. Like you're carrying a yoke rack, you're envisioning you're at the salt flats and like you're crossing the last 10 meters. Like it's always creating that mindset of you're in the situation, you're giving yourself that positive reinforcement, you're telling yourself you're a beast. I think that's really powerful for the mind to reinforce like you are a strong individual and keep telling yourself that, because once that doubt like sets in and creeps its head, like that could take you out.
Dude, that's so good. Wow. I love the power of imagination. And a lot of people are like, I think a lot of people get this weird, they associate like imagination with dreams and like fake, like a false reality. But if you imagine things that you're truly capable of, you can first see it in your mind and then go do it. And I think a lot of people don't do that. And that's something that's super powerful. Like literally imagine it. When I played college basketball, I'd be in the gym late at night on the weekends and I'd be sitting there shooting free throws or shooting threes, imagining like the arena was sold out and like this was the game winner. And I think it's the same thing, just in a different, a different application, but it's still that mindset of strengthening and preparing the mind for that moment when you're actually doing it.
Yeah, it serves a number of purposes. It's imagery is great for a lot of things. It's to build up that positive reinforcement in your mind, to build that unbreakable mindset to keep yourself going. But it's also about, keeping your inner child alive. Like that's where a lot of your creativity, starts. That's where it originates. And like, if you want to keep it alive, like, dude, you gotta daydream sometimes. It's just what you gotta do, because it can lead to an amazing idea or another amazing attribute that you didn't know about yourself.
100%. Dude, that's good. So after the strongman marathon, what was the next challenge? You've done a few more since then. What was the next one after that?
The next one after that, I was drawn to, doing a little bit more with CrossFit, because CrossFit is how I became so strong, so fast. I really attribute that programming just to a lot of my abilities, because I've done a lot of training in the past, whether it was bodybuilding or, training for rugby and whatnot. But CrossFit really like made the huge difference in my life. So I wanted to take all 31 benchmark CrossFit girl wads, because they recently added 7 that year. And I was like, you know what? They just added 7. No one's ever done all of them back to back in one day before. Like, I think this would be really cool. It's also could be really dangerous, because a lot of these workouts involve the same movements, like compounding squats and pull-ups and jumps. Like that's how people get rhabdo, doing that same repetitive movement over and over and over, especially with weight. Like if you're not ready, you can seriously hurt yourself. But that was the gold mine. I gave myself, I think, 2 months or so. And me and my buddy went out to do all 31 CrossFit Girl Wads straight in a row. We had judges there. We live streamed it, which was actually a terrible idea. Never live stream like anything that's over 5 minutes, because then like everyone tunes out. But we did that the entire time, and we actually failed. We made a couple of mistakes. We made 6 hours and like 30 minutes in. We got through 22 workouts or so. So we were like near the finish line, but we knew it wasn't going to be possible, because some of the workouts we left to the end were we wouldn't have been able to finish.
For sure. Yeah, that's still crazy, dude. I mean, I do one CrossFit workout, and I'm about to die. So I don't know how you did them all day long. That's incredible.
It's just fun. That's another thing that it comes down to. Like, this is my creative outlet. This is fun. Like, I want to do this to showcase, like, hey, like, this is a way you can get involved with the community, have a partner come in, and just have a very good time. Like, if you've never done anything fitness in your life, like, this is what you should be doing because this is a blast.
That is cool. And that's kind of the sense I got a lot of Wadapalooza too, just the community feel of that type of training. It is cool. It is cool to see people coming together, supporting one another, pushing one another, making each other better, but also having a good time doing it. It's pretty dope. All right, man.
100%.
You've done another one. This is the one I really want to kind of dive into, the rope one, man. So I'll let you
Yeah,
kind of take
this
over. This one honestly scares me, and I think I respect you 100%. You're an incredible human, but I'm very just amazed by your willingness to do something where like you legit could die. Like talk. All right, just go ahead and tell the people what we're
Dude,
referring
you were scared. I was scared.
to.
So I remember I was attending an HPLT event that Brian Mazza puts on where it's just, very determined group of people where they're very into fitness, very into business, and they're on the elite end of trying to drive their forces throughout their life. So throughout this event, there was a speaker there, and he was like, if you want to become courageous, you have to put yourself in situations that's going to allow you to be courageous. Like, you can't just expect opportunities to come in. You have to put yourselves in those situations, and you have to see how you're going to respond. Otherwise, like, you're not giving yourself those opportunities. So I was like, that kind of stuck with me. And I was like, all right, there's a number of things I want to create with fitness. What's the next thing I can do? And like, I was very fascinated by the Moab arches. Like, they're just these massive arches that are just sitting out in the landscape. And I don't know why, but it's just calling to me that you need to hang a rope dead center in these arches and you have to climb it. Like, for some reason, I just had that calling. Like, there needs to be a rope there. Someone has to climb it. I'm not much of a rock climber, so doing those things are so, but climbing a rope, that really spoke to me. And I've seen some rope climbs that were pretty epic. I've seen people climb ropes that are attached to hot air balloons, and they'll, fly them up 3,000 feet. But no matter what I saw, everyone always had a safety line on. And I was like, well, if you fail, it's just like, going to an indoor rock climbing gym and you're on a belay set, or like, where's the real danger there? Like, where's you stepping up in this? So I figured this is a great opportunity for me to do a solo climb on a 200-foot rope hanging from a natural arch and just seeing what I can do. Like, I'm afraid of heights. I was scared out of my mind just to get out there. And I remember I called up a guide, very like good with rappelling, mountaineering, rock climbing. He knew everything I needed to know. So he set up all the gear I needed because I had no idea what I was doing. So I remember he gets up onto the top, he sets up all the gear. He actually rappels me down the first day just so I can get a feel of like where my landmarks, like if I look at this rock, I'll be this far away from the top. If I'm looking at this rock, I'll be, and I just remember hanging there at his will as he's rappelling me down. And I'm just like scared out of my mind because I'm so high off the ground. I'm looking down. I'm like already wanting to not be in this situation. And this is another event where I kind of came in where I didn't have a rope for 2 months to practice on. So like training wise, I just trusted my previous rope climbing experience. And I found out very quickly, like, it was not enough. Day comes, it's super windy. The rope was way different than what I was kind of like expecting. And unfortunately, I did not make it all the way to the top. I was like about 85 feet up and I was just spinning like crazy, getting dizzy. And I just had to call it and come back down.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're when you're dealing with the life or death challenge, some of these have been crazy. But when you're dealing with one where you legit could die, I think it's smart that you kind of had that awareness. But dude, that's insane. Like what kind of emotions do you experience like the night before a challenge like that? Like I'm sure you were like just going crazy. I would have been losing my mind.
It's weird because the night before, I think the fact that I did rappel down, it became very, very real. And it gave me the most doubt in my mind the night before. Whereas if I didn't do that, I would have been like just in my own weird imagination space, been like, yeah, this should be easy. But no, it set in. I was freaking out. I didn't really sleep that much. And yeah, man, there was a lot of doubt going in, but like what kept me there going was like, hey, like I still have to give this my best attempt, no matter what that is. Like I have to somehow just get this done.
I mean, so you made it up 85. You made it up. Wait, no, more than that, like 120, 115 feet or something.
I was up around 85 feet.
That's still literally insane. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, it was weird because, usually rope climbs, like it'll take me two pulls in a regular gym to touch the top, but like for some reason I never counted the jump like I always do in a gym. So like my calculations involved a jump, and then I realized like, oh shoot, I'm not gonna have to do this many pulls. I'm gonna have to do like twice as many because like I can't jump in the middle of a rope.
Right.
So that the rope stretched about like a good foot on every pull. So I was losing, height every time I reached up. It was spinning like crazy. So I was just staring up, spinning, and I was just like getting really dizzy and nauseous. There was a lot of factors that I did not account for.
That's insane. What so you haven't promoted like any type of video of this yet, right? But something's coming. You guys have worked on something?
I have it out, but I really want to get it done. Like I really, really want to get it done. Like I don't know if you ever saw the documentary Maru before, but it's about these
I've
climbers climbing Maru, and they fail the first time, and then they go back and make this great achievement under odds that were even worse than the first time. And like I need that retribution. I need to get back out there and get this done.
Wow.
Like it's just calling my name, and it needs to happen.
That's crazy, dude. I am in full support of anything you decide to do, but that one is different. That one is very crazy, bro. That's awesome. What so yeah, I mean, I know you challenged that. When was that? When was that event?
Whew.
The rope climb.
I think that was last June. I
Okay.
want to say June.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
June or July, somewhere around there.
And so in the meantime, you've just been training CrossFit. You've been doing, some other types of challenges. But what do you have coming up? I know you've got some things brewing. I'd love to hear you kind of hear about those.
Yeah. So one of my sponsors, Vital Proteins, they recently became the official sponsor for the High Rocks race. And they really wanted us to run, these races. And if you don't know what High Rocks is, it's a mix between an 8K run and 8 workout stations. So it's about an hour of work, and it's just like the highest heart rate you can reach in that hour because it's just nonstop grinding and grinding and grinding. And I remember this came out right around when I stopped doing obstacle course racing. And I didn't really want any part of it because I was just kind of done with the whole thing. But there was an option to do doubles. So you can run with a partner. You guys do the run together, and then you split up the workout station. And for some reason, like, I don't know, that spoke to me more, especially because my very good friend, Eric Hinman, is also a part of the team and insane athlete. We've done a lot of workouts and everything together. We actually did Murph recently this past year and had a blast. So we're going to attack it as a team once they get to the Dallas location in order to qualify for the World Championships, which is going to be in Las Vegas this year where I'm residing. So it's
Let's
going to be
go.
one hell of a party. I'm super excited for that. And we're going for that top spot.
When is the actual challenge or race?
So we got Dallas, I believe that's next month. I'm not sure the
Okay.
exact date. And then we're looking at May for for Las Vegas.
And that's like the final, that's a championship. That's the end all.
Oh yeah, that's all of it.
So will the one in Dallas be the same exact structure as the one in Vegas? Like,
Yeah,
will you just
so
get time to
when you
prepare?
sign up for a High Rocks race, it's always going to be the same layout. You're always going to have the 1,000-meter run 8 times, and in between or after each run is going to be a different workout station, whether it's their sled pull, burpee broad jumps, farmer carries. You always end with the 100 wall balls. So it's always the same order of everything every single time. So the more you do, the better you're going to get at it, obviously. But there's something special about just working with a partner and really taking on like the load together and trying to get that done. Cause I don't want to let Eric down. He's a phenomenal athlete and I'm sure he doesn't want to let me down. So you're going to see some of our best performances come out in this race. I'm pretty excited for it.
I love that, dude. I'm pretty immersed in the fitness space just based on the nature of like what I do day to day for work. And obviously I enjoy it personally just as something I love. But out of all the people I'm kind of, connected with, you and Eric, I think work out the most. Like, dude, I swear you guys are working out literally all day. I don't know how your body recovers. Like it's like workout, lunch, snack, workout. I'm like, gosh, dude, y'all are killing it.
It's just like, that's the life we want to have for ourselves. That's what's like really close to our hearts. It's making sure we have a very good, healthy lifestyle, making sure I hold my relationship with my girlfriend very close to me. So that has to be like on point. Like those two things, just that's what speaks to me. And that's what means like being in a rich, healthy lifestyle.
I love that. I'm passionate about that, man. I really do want to help people just understand the concept and importance and value of just wellness and fitness. It doesn't have to be like you're an anomaly. Like I'm not gonna lie, like there's not a lot of people like you, but you can inspire others just to take their health and their fitness and their wellness seriously and make it a priority in their life, which is important.
100%. I mean, the masses may not be like me, but like I always think about it like there's definitely hundreds or thousands of people just like me doing things well more than my strongman marathon, well past those limits, but you just don't see it. Like it may not be up on Instagram. It may not be, in my algorithm of things I view, like, but it's definitely out there. There's definitely hundreds of people just like me.
No, I love it, man. We got to get you up to the Blue Ridge Mountains, man. I want you to come visit and we can do some crazy challenges up here.
Hell yeah, I'm down for that.
Dude, we'll have to set that up. Do you do much to recover? Like, do you have that kind of built into your daily like workouts and stuff, like ice baths or saunas or anything like that, or not?
If
Really?
I had access to all those things, like I definitely want to have it in my life. When I was doing OCR, I had like the Normatec boots, laying on my legs, recovering for an hour at a time. I would do ice baths then, but like for some reason, ice baths just I cringe every time I think about it. It's something like I really, really, really don't want to do and put off. And I'm actually going to spend like, 2 weeks with Eric really soon. And he's like, we're doing this every day. And like, I'm already fearful of that because I just saw a video of him breaking ice in a lake just to use that as their ice bath. I'm like, dude, why? Like that scares me. So I think it's just another thing I have to overcome, push my barriers and just get used to it.
That's all you can do, man. That's so good. Wrapping this thing up, dude, you're a legend. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to share with us about things you're doing, you're trying to accomplish, or any words of wisdom as you wrap this up?
Yeah, there is one more project. I think it's going to be my largest one yet. The hopes is to make this full 90-minute documentary feature. I'm taking 8 athletes, big name guys, and we're going to achieve a world's first record. I'm not going to go into much detail of what it is, but it's going to be 2 weeks worth of work in the middle of the desert, not Las Vegas, different location, but it's going to be something spectacular again, where just that scenery and landscape meets this full fitness, also meeting like how do these 8 athletes work well together? Because most of us, like you and I, before we were meeting before, like we just met on social media. Like our vibes kind of feel right. I think everything works. And like that might be the first time we meet actually in person. So it'll be really, really interesting to live together for 2 weeks to get a feat done. Are we going to rub each other the wrong way, or are we going to get along and get this done?
That's incredible. Is the team public yet or not yet?
Not yet. I have some unconfirmed, but so far, everyone I've talked to, they are 100% about it. We're going to get this done no matter what. Just seeking out some funding to get it finished, and it's going to be something remarkable.
Dude, you're a beast, dude. I'm excited to see that. I will definitely be tuned in for all the stuff you're doing. And I'll see Eric this weekend. So I will definitely talk to him about High Rocks. You guys are going to crush that, dude.
Oh, 100%. Like it's going to be fun regardless. I know both of us work well together, and I'm excited.
Dude, I love it. Man, I cannot thank you enough for jumping on this podcast. I know that your story and your just drive and ambition is going to help so many people. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
No, thanks for having me on. Give me time to like present what I do and just reach more and more people to kind of tune into what I'm doing just in hopes so I can create that spark for them.
100%. We're going to have you back on after these challenges so we can talk about them.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, take care, guys.